Alright, guys. So the servers are down, and I am making the rational decision, which is instead of taking a shower or eating or just generally not doing anything since I've been on the grind for the last 72 hours, um, I have decided to record a video for you. So, yay! Who wants to listen to me ramble about everything that I have been doing for the past 72 hours? Alright, so the order will go. First, I'll talk about the campaign, then the new stat system, then PvP, then the power grind, then the Encore and Grappler nerf, which is kind of in the power grind section, and then a couple miscellaneous things like the ammo system and the firing range. All right, starting out with the campaign. Let's start out with the gameplay specifically. I genuinely got put to sleep. They put me to sleep. This is the first campaign that has ever launched where midway through I went to take a nap. Like, I'm not even kidding. My teammates will vouch for this. I got on later that night and finished things off solo. Like, every boss has 3 immune phases. Every immune phase is way too tedious. There's too much ball. There is so much ball. Why did you give me this much ball? I'm done with the ball. I never want to see a fucking ball again in my life. Whew. The campaign was so bad. Okay. But aside from the gameplay, the narrative actually pretty solid, you know? All things considered, Allison Lores is kind of pulling it off. The characters sound like characters again, and the story beats sound like story beats again, and that is, all things considered, pretty awesome, considering that it felt like she was working with some very not optimal setup. The 9 are interesting. I won't spoil anything, but the 9 are interesting, and the new characters that are introduced are interesting, and generally the narrative is very solid. Something that I will say regarding execution of that narrative is that Ikora's voice actor being Savathun's voice actor does not work for me, because there are a couple moments where I feel like Ikora's old voice actor would have pulled things off correctly, where Ikora's new voice actor sounds too emotional or sounds too involved for someone that is canonically like 1,000 years old. But beyond that, excellent narrative, horrible gameplay. That concludes my thoughts on the campaign. The new stat system is both a blessing and a curse. So the ammo stat, or like the weapons stat, aka investing in that gets you more ammo, feels borderline required to run because you are just starved for ammo 99% of the time. Double special is nigh unusable, and certain weapons are picking up like 4 ammo for a rocket sidearm, like 1 ammo for an area denial GL. Like, ammo is in dire straits. Combine that with the new reserves changes, like Lord of Wolves got its reserves cut by a third. Like, there's a couple reserves things that felt awful. Ammo is just in dire straits. Every other part of the new stat system, though, is actually pretty interesting. I do like being able to invest in the scalars of my abilities, get my melees back quicker, get my grenade back quicker with Devour, etc., etc. So, all things considered, I do like the new stat system. Abilities feel more build crafty than ever. That's what I'll say about that. So, that's enough for the new stat system. That was pretty much conclusive from the get-go. I think everybody knew that was going to be pretty solid. Moving on to PvP. PvP is absolutely just foobar. It's over. Like, pack it up and go home. If you have a set that has 200 weapon stat and you have a 390 pulse, you just get to win. You have a 180 hand cannon, you just get to win, but slightly less. The new hand cannon, the 150 graviton spike, I did max that out. I have every catalyst, I have all that stuff. I've tried them out. It's really fun. It's really cool. You can't use it because people are too bursting with a 390 pulse. And like, the background gameplay I'm sure I'm putting on screen right now is my first ever game with it, and I got 48 kills, and we ran first game on. And like, yeah, I had played some comp earlier that day. That was all the PvP I'd played that season. This season. So PvP's foobar. Everybody knew that was going to happen. Expected result is the conclusion. Moving on to the power grind, and it is rough, buddy. That is too much power grind. Kujay did the math and he said it was going to be like 90 hours based on some rough estimates. And yeah, he was pretty much spot on there. It is going to take forever to hit 450. And so tying that in with the Encore and Grappler nerf, we were able to skip a significant portion of the grind. I got to like 210. Some people got to 350. Others didn't even get to use it at all. And so now everybody is on just wildly different playing fields. Some people are farming tier 4s, while other people can't even get tier 2s yet, and that feels awful, but Bungie handles things poorly, as expected. Expected result is conclusion. That is just how it is. And so back to the main power grind. If you are a casual Destiny player, this power grind probably feels awful to you. If you are a competitive Destiny player, this power grind probably feels awful to you. And if you are somewhere in the middle, maybe the power grind feels okay to you because like you're not super worried about hitting 450, but also like you're going to hit 450 pretty early in the season, so you're not super worried about it getting taken away in 6 months. I don't know. The power grind feels horrible to me, and yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But as some tips to people who are grinding for power for day one, or if they're just getting on the game, whatever, never play the same activity twice. Beating an activity has a chance to give you a bonus drop on another activity, so just keep rotating between activities and finishing different ones, and your power grind will go significantly faster. Always target the thing that gives you the most drops. Only use enough modifiers to get you +4. Anything beyond that is just a waste, and you're making things hard on yourself unnecessarily. That's all I've got to say on the power grind. Moving on to the miscellaneous section. So the ammo system, I already talked about it. You are completely starved. Double special is utterly dead. And my plan for the day one was I was just going to use like a rocket sidearm in the energy slot or that void sidearm that gives you devour in the energy slot. And then I was going to switch to icebreaker whenever I need my ammo back. They are disabling icebreaker for the day one. So I don't know what I'm going to do for ammo. I think I may legitimately just run a build that gets me Transcendence as fast as possible, and I will plan on doing every single bit of my ad clear with Lightning Surge, because holy shit, you don't have enough ammo to do anything. Like, enemies are so tanky, and you have so little reserves that there's just, it feels like weapons are on the back seat the most they've been in a while, and that's crazy to think about. The firing range is pretty cool. I do like it. It's missing some major things. There's not a combat frame that is a boss, and so you're constantly doing boss testing on bosses that are flinching away from you. They're hunkering down. They're like battered back and forth. You're never hitting 100% headshots. They're not having correct scalers. Like, different bosses have different crit scalers, and so it's like it's weird to know what is actually going on. And that's very unintuitive. Like, a lot of new Destiny players won't understand that certain bosses have different crit scalers. They'll just be like, I'm hitting big number, and big number is cool. Even my friend, who's a very hardcore Destiny player on my day one team, was like, so I found out that Thunderlord is doing double the damage of Queenbreaker. And I'm like, okay, what are you shooting, a major or a boss? And he's like, oh, I'm shooting a major. Fuck, that's messed up. And then he started shooting a boss, and he realized that Queenbreaker and Thunderlord are actually like pretty much on parity. So that's like very much a problem. I hope that they add a boss frame. Otherwise, like, skill issue, I guess. That's just, there's not enough customization. I wish there was more customization. All right. I'm going to mute the recording and see if I can think of anything else. If I can't, I'll just end the video here. Oh yeah, I had genuinely forgotten to talk about it just because it wasn't even on my mind. Hunter's dead. Like, in PvP, Hunter's just dead. In PvE, Hunter is completely dead. Like, unless you have such a necessity of a Tether or a Celestial Goldie that Hunter becomes relevant again, Hunter is just, like, utterly worthless. They're so stat hungry, and the new stats are so, like, they encourage building into one stat so much. It just feels absolutely awful to play a class that requires almost every stat like Hunter. Again, I wish I could say that I didn't see this coming, but like, ugh. I'm sure that somebody is going to be like, but dude, there's this crazy Hunter build. Your Hunter build does nothing, okay? I'm sorry to say it. Your Hunter build is not hitting as hard as a Warlock build. It's not even hitting as hard as a Titan build, and Titans got low-key neutered. So, like, good luck doing the day one with your Hunter. And if you do clear with Hunter, that is impressive on your part. I applaud your skill. You're awesome. But yeah, Hunters are cooked. And I guess that's all I have to say. I couldn't really think of anything else. I'm sure there's things I missed, so drop those in the comments if you want. This was just a quick, unscripted rant. I'm not even editing this. The plan is just to throw some background gameplay on it and get it uploaded as fast as possible. And servers are probably back online as I'm finishing this recording, even. So I will see you guys out there. Adios. Praise God. Almost forgot.